All right. Ready,
All right.
ready, ready.
Yes.
What's going on?
Back again. Back to the history channel, I guess.
That's it. Yep, that's it.
I forget
Pick up
the
to
name
all
of
the
this.
history teachers and that.
All of the history students learning
That's it.
everything. As you can see, followers of our first 2 episodes, we're in person. We've got a little setup here.
That's it.
We're going to try this out. Hopefully this works out better than the virtual experience.
Thinking, what the hell are we doing in the back of our heads, you know?
Yeah, it's not really so familiar, but here we go. And yeah, how are you, Q?
Yeah, all good, man. Everything's all right. Everything's kind of chilled still. I'm not going to lie. A little bit on edge right now.
Yeah, talk about
There's
it.
like so many people here just watching us right now. It's
I know,
mad.
we've
It's
got a
mad
whole
intimidating.
crew here.
Yeah. Oh, my word.
Sound.
Big up to my man over here.
We had my wife doing our makeup.
That's it, yeah. Hair, makeup, you know, this just doesn't come naturally in it. Obviously, it was done by like many hours of work the night before. So,
Yeah.
what are you saying though? Yes, you cool?
Yeah, I'm very well, man.
Right,
I'm very
cool,
well.
cool,
It's
cool,
a sunny day today, and we're here to talk about the Black Plague or
That's
the Black Death.
That's it. Very touching at the moment, especially with COVID as well. So
Exactly. It's a very relevant subject. One of the biggest plagues to ever hit humanity. And we're going to get into it. I just want to say thank you for tuning in. Those who tuning in.
yeah, big ups.
Tell us if you like the setup, like what we're talking about. Give us suggestions.
Yeah.
Like, subscribe, all of that crap.
All of that stuff.
All of that.
Share it. Anyone that's good with like tech as well, give us some like advice on certain things, you know, to help us out, to continue to kind of keep this projecting upwards. So let us know.
Yeah, standard. But yeah, the Black Plague that hit the whole world, I guess, during the 14th century.
That's it.
Originated in China.
In China, yeah. I don't know exactly where, but funny enough, the coronavirus originated from China as well, isn't it?
Funny enough,
this is a mad
ends up originating from China. I don't know what they're doing down there.
No, this is a bit mad. I don't know. It's
Yeah.
like history repeating itself. Could it be the Black Plague again, like just coming back again, or is it like, I don't know? Could it be like a variant of the Black Plague mixed with whatever this COVID is?
What are you talking about? So you're saying the Black Death is that, or is COVID?
Like is COVID like a relation to the Black Death?
I don't think so.
Because it's not. Apparently, it's not fully gone away. Like it's never. It never completely like disappeared. Like
there's still cases of the Black Death about 100%. But I think coronavirus is its own kind of kettle of fish. Like I don't think it's.
Okay, everyone watching is gonna be like, "Where the fuck have you been?" I mean, listen, I don't watch the news like that. Yeah, I should probably be more educated on this stuff.
No,
but
minor things.
It's an interesting relation, isn't it? Because it's like from China, like it's interesting how it's come back from there again. So
exactly,
that's what I'm curious about.
And when this hit from China, man, mainly because China had such links to the rest of the world, because the Silk Road, excuse me.
Well, trades in general.
Trades in general. This Black Death had easy access to the outside world. So it mirrors exactly what's happening with the coronavirus because of how connected everything is. It's easy to spread. Like you got different people traveling all sorts of places.
That's it.
But yeah, it also originated from rats.
Rats and fleas, airborne, people like passing it on through like sicknesses. Funny enough, a bit like the COVID. No, but I mean, from trade, obviously people at that point in time, hygiene wasn't really like the maximum thing that you could, you know.
Yeah, there was no hygiene.
Yeah, there wasn't really any hygiene. So everything wasn't really clean. There was a lot of vermin, you know, rats everywhere, like animals that had been bitten by like rats and like fleas and all this stuff.
Exactly. So that kind of differs from the coronavirus because supposedly the coronavirus is either from a lab or it's from a bat. No,
Yeah.
you know what? To be honest, I think it is from coronavirus is from bats in general,
Okay.
but this new explosion, this new kind of spread of it.
What kind of bat was it? Was it like a fruit bat? Or was it like one that actually
don't
bites
actually know.
animals?
I don't
know.
actually
I don't
know.
If you know, for real,
Cheat us,
if you
cheat
know.
us.
But yeah. So it spread through. It spread through that. Now I don't know if that's like the main cause of it, but it was spread through like obviously fleas.
Yeah.
Is it fleas? It's a
So
flea, isn't it?
basically, I think it's more to do with a virus that's fleas spread.
Yeah, yeah.
So
Obviously they've been biting like rats, and the rats, you know, once
go
they
everywhere.
they go everywhere. Once they're like they're populating everywhere, and then they die. The flea would literally just jump over to like a next carrier,
Host, yeah.
next host basically.
yeah.
So anything that had blood is what they were after.
Fuck, man.
I know, and it's mad because it just, I guess it multiplies more and more and more and more as it goes on, right? So a bit like COVID, where there was that one, it was like a small case where it was in China, it's all started, and then all of a sudden it just went insane and it just went mad global. So it's similar, like we're really fortunate to obviously have like more advanced technology to like, I don't know if they've gotten to the bottom of it and like actually found a way to like cure this stuff, but back then
No. So
not really.
let us set the scene. You're in some village. You don't know what medicine is.
Just chilling.
You just know about magic. You don't know about hygiene. You don't know anything. You think getting sick is being possessed by a demon or some shit. So they have no clue how to actually deal with this. So you're in this village. You don't have toilets. You don't have...
They probably do have toilets though.
They don't have toilets.
You don't think they did?
Nah, man.
Why?
They didn't have a concept of toilet.
Yeah, what do you mean? They had toilets.
Back in the 14th century.
Yeah, but I don't think they had like sewage toilets.
Nah,
But
didn't
they had
have
those ones
toilets.
where you could sit in and it was just like a circle.
Just a wooden thing.
Yeah, it's a toilet.
All right, I guess it is. A
Yeah,
toilet.
there you go. Come on,
Alright,
give
alright,
these guys some props, man.
All right, but I hear they were throwing excrement.
Well, out windows and
Yeah,
whatnot.
urine and shit. Where's the toilets? I guess not everyone were able to, have a toilet.
No, probably not. No, but the concept of like flushing the toilet, they probably
Yeah.
didn't have.
They didn't have sewers. That's for one.
Yeah.
Like their shit probably just stayed where the
Mhm.
shit was. Maybe
It's
moved
probably
a
like
few
those
meters.
toilets when you go to like a festival somewhere and then they have like the
Portaloos.
and inside the portaloos. Well, some portaloos got water, but some of them are just like hay
Yeah.
at the bottom. Yeah, so maybe it was that. I don't know. Maybe.
And this is your everyday life. And here,
I doubt they were washing their hands as well. Another thing.
fuck knows. Yeah, they didn't wash their hands. They didn't have soap. So it's a prime like environment for disease and all sorts to spread. And this was the mother of all diseases. It killed 60% of the population.
So apparently, yeah, apparently it did. Over. Mad. Yeah, just casually laughing at people dying. Yeah, this is mad. Yeah, sorry about that, people. But yeah, about 60% over 100 million people.
Damn.
Over 100 million people of
Damn.
like cases, obviously, that happened. Do you know more about like the symptoms, like the kind of things that they would go under?
Yeah, I would. No, I actually don't know the symptoms. So I hear that they have these boils that appear in their armpits and
In their groin area as well,
groin
yeah.
area.
So it could be like the size of an apple, or like an egg.
That's
So imagine waking up one
Painful.
day, and you've just got like the size of a apple under your armpit, like you're trying to like, I don't know, put your deodorant on to go to work, and it's like it's mad, yeah.
Excruciating pain as well.
That's it.
That
You
comes
got
with it.
an egg in your
Fevers.
groin, it's like
Yeah,
I don't know. It doesn't really bang. It doesn't
No,
really
not at
sound
all.
good to me, to be
Not
honest.
at all. A third testicle. No, it's not going to be cool.
Definitely not a vibe.
Not a vibe. Obviously, the same symptoms as flus. You're going to have your fever. You're going to have your sneezing. You're gonna have your coughing.
I think the majority of them. So it was like, I'm probably gonna butcher all these names, but one is the bubonic plague. The other one is the I don't even know how to say that. Yes, how do you say that?
Septemic.
Septemic. Let me see.
Septic.
Hang on.
I'm
gonna Apple for the win. Hang on. Septisemic.
Hey,
yeah.
we need this. We need
Septisemic,
Google.
That's it. And then the next one was
Pneumonic.
There we go. So those three were like different stages of the actual disease itself.
Was it different stages or was it different types of it?
You know what? I don't think actually. Now that you say that, I don't think it was stages. I think it was by the way you caught it.
Yeah.
So one was if you were caught bitten by a flea. Basically, if a flea bit you, you would have like the bubonic plague.
I see.
Then the next one was if you were handling animals.
Okay.
Or again bitten by
a flea.
Flea, and then the last one was respiratory.
Yeah. So pneumonic is going to be respiratory because that would deal with the lungs.
Okay.
You get pneumonia.
Oh yeah.
That will be like fluid in your lungs.
Okay.
Septicemic.
Septemic, yeah.
Yeah, that
whatever, you heard it already.
Yeah, you heard it already. Rewind it.
That's it.
That's the blood infection.
Yeah. That's it.
And bubonic probably just be the standard,
But pneumonic also had a bloody outcome as well.
Oh,
so like mucus.
Oh yeah. But that's all from the lungs, isn't it?
That's it. Yeah, that's it.
So they will pretty much kind of drown in their own, thing. So let's just kind of sum it up here. So this is a tough thing to like deal with.
yeah, fuck that.
It can come in 3 different ways. You can catch it variously. You're in packed cities, no sense of hygiene, and no way of actually dealing with this disease as well. So, and these 3 types, the bubonic, pneumonic, and the third one, septemic.
Yeah.
We need to find a different name for that.
Definitely, yeah.
They have different ways of killing you as well, and they have different lengths of killing you.
Yeah, and I mean, once you got one of the 3, you was gonna die anyways.
But I think
you
the
would
bubonic was there was more chances to survive with the bubonic one than the pneumonic and septemic.
I guess so, yeah, because it's like headaches, fever kind of stuff. So maybe that's the lightest one out of them all. Yeah,
but light
is still not light though. Because light is still not light. It's definitely not light.
And I might just add these images, but if people had those, what were they called again? Those boils.
Yeah.
They could
boils.
Yeah, they could literally bend your neck. There's people who would have boils on their neck and have their
end up looking like the Hunchback of Notre Dame. For real.
Or like a headless horseman kind of thing, like necks on permanently bent up.
That's messed up.
Yeah, that's messed up.
Yeah, that is messed up.
So even if you're surviving this, probably just want to die anyway.
You're coming out with like life-changing circumstances. Like it's not going to be the same for you once it's over.
Yeah.
But bubonic was like, you still have an element of being swollen. So it's like swollen parts of your body. You'd have also my screen is not zooming out. Sorry, it's just gone into like some black fingers.
Oh shit.
So that's one of the symptoms, but it's not with the bubonic plague. So you would also have weakness, you would have a lot of chills and fever. So that was if you caught it by a bite of a flea. And I mean, again, it's still quite fitting with what it is now, because obviously COVID, when you had contracted COVID, or I don't know if it's contracted, but you got COVID, you would also have those headaches and like chills, very weak as well. So it's quite similar. Like maybe it's a really strong kind of fever, which is also an element of like COVID as well, right?
It's just your immune system, isn't it? So your immune system deals with illnesses or any invasion the same way, through cooking it out by raising your body temperature and having a fever, or sneezing it out, coughing it out, vomiting it out, and they were all standard symptoms. But you had the kind of special ones with the boils, the swollen legs. They were particular to this certain disease. But with septemic, if you got it, if it was a blood infection, 2 days. You had 2 days. There was no chance of you surviving it. Once it was in your blood, you'd be dead in 2 days. Pneumonic, I think it was at least a week.
A wrap for you.
Yeah, it's done.
Over, yeah.
It's done. And I mean, it's not a pretty done as well.
No.
It's, tough. And bubonic, I think it was at least 2 weeks. And you may survive, you may not. So that is the kind of range that these people were dealing with back in the Middle Ages. And this swept all of Asia, all of Europe, Middle East, anywhere where there was trade routes, all sorts, they all got it.
Wait, just to touch back on the length of how long it took you to die, it must have been mad that like a whole population catching, the Black Death.
Yeah, exactly.
And then in 2 days later, like, I don't know if it would be like 50% of the population would be just like wiped out.
Crazy.
That's a quick.
That's crazy.
That's a quick turnover of like people. Like, it's mad. It's mad.
That's jarring. Like, just imagine it in this kind of scenario. We've just met, we just had a conversation, and 2 days later you're dead. I mean, that could happen with anything, but like family and shit.
No.
You know what I mean? Yeah, that's jarring. And these are communities being wiped out. There was like whole towns all succumbing to this and turning into ghost towns after. So
I think the one thing that got me when I was doing all this research was like seeing people's body parts and like how it's just gone completely, black. There's no blood there. So like the tissue turning black, skin, fingers and your nose and your toes. It's like, imagine you've gone out, you're not sure, like you've got no idea this is like you've been bitten by like a flea, or you've got no idea that you've carried this thing on, and then waking up in like a day and just seeing, your skin turning like a different color to what your actual skin is. It's a madness to me. It's mad. It's just like how could you imagine just waking up one day and seeing that on your body?
Yeah, and
that's enough to like send you, that's enough to send you completely into like insanity, I feel.
Completely. You'd be so in such denial, and you have no concept of what's happening to you. You think this is God's judgment. You've done something wrong, and he's, or it, is coming to punish you.
They did think that this was being passed on by, somebody who had died. So they thought that the soul of somebody leaving their body was actually passing on this Black Death.
Oh, wow.
So that was something that they believed. I mean, I think obviously religion was like a really big thing back then.
Yes.
So that was probably like the law.
But they weren't that far off, I guess.
What do you mean?
Because it was the dead who were kind of spreading this.
Was it
among the fleas and the rats? It was people spreading it as well.
Yeah, true.
So this you reminded me of a horrific event. So one of the kind of example, I guess, or a case study or whatever you may call it, of the Black Death spreading. You had this town or city in Ukraine, I think it's in Crimea, called Kaffa. And Kaffa was under siege by the Mongolians after some kind of beef between the Catholics and the Muslims. And the Mongolians this general of the Mongolians was a devout Muslim. So he came to kind of defend Islam and I don't know how to call it, like siege the city, put the city in siege, so just surround it and cut off all of its resources, and either starve it to death or they come out and fight and whatnot.
Isn't that what Hitler was trying to do here in the Great Britain?
Yeah, it's a tactic. It's a standard tactic in war.
Right.
So they had the Kaffa sieged and surrounded, blockades, all of that, and it just so happened that these generals' army, the Mongolian army, had contracted Black Death, and they were dying. by the dozens. And instead of, you know, abandoning the war and just thinking, okay, you know what, I'm gonna lose this. My people them are dying. He instead got the dead, put them on catapults.
No.
And flung them over the city.
Oh my word.
Into Kaffa. And these people in Kaffa, unsuspected, had flying dead bodies falling upon them, infected by this Black Death. And obviously they got
wiped out as well.
They got wiped out. Even before the war, it was biological warfare before biological warfare.
That's a mad tactic. You know, you're looking at your your soldiers and you're just like, you know what, let's just put them on the catapults and just fling them over. You're having your early morning like coffee or your tea. You're just watching some person just like
some dead body falling into your city, man.
It's crazy. But the Mongolians were mad like that, though, innit?
Yeah.
They were on some madness.
But they were all mad.
Yeah, fair play. Yeah, they were all mad.
Yeah, if you check our episode about Vlad, you know the extent of madness that people were on these days, or them days, excuse me.
On some mad crud. But
But yeah, those I don't know what you would call them, but the people from Kaffa trying to escape this siege, they had a port and they would load people on these ships, and them ships would sail off to different shores to escape the siege and that Black Death, not really understanding that those boats had, you know, infected on them, and that would spread to different places around the continent of Europe. So it hit Italy, hit Morocco, hit Spain,
India,
all sorts.
Pretty much global, mate.
Yeah,
it went global.
It was a pandemic.
It pretty much went everywhere, to be honest.
Yeah.
It's mad though. It is mad. It is very mad. Like when you think about it, when you try to like bring it into realization of today as well, you know, you have your pets in the house, and having something like that could actually invite this plague into your own house. So it was like difficult to escape from anyways. Yeah. As it is when you're in a city, and people were obviously trying to flee cities to go out into the country, thinking that open space and being away from the city was going to get them to be safe. But then they just ended up going off and being around people and having the disease in themselves and passing it over to wherever they went. So out of like this insanity of trying to escape the area, they're just multiplying it and, you know, passing it on and passing it on and passing it on and passing it on. So when people panic, like, they're not really thinking, innit? So
yeah, and when you have no concept of how shit spreads, you're just moving because, you know, you think it's the best thing.
Yeah, definitely Google some of the symptoms as well. It's just mad. Like, look at some of them pictures. We'll do it after your dinner or whatever.
We will put some pictures up for you guys to see.
Yeah.
The kind of horrors that happened. We're looking at some right now.
Yeah. It's the hand ones that always get me, man. The
Why
finger.
is that?
I don't know. It's the fingernails are just mad crusty. Like, it just looks like the skin is just rotting away, and that's what it is.
Probably
that's what it is,
yeah.
and it just looks. It's a bit surreal, isn't it? It's a bit surreal. Like, obviously you get scabs and whatnot when you fall over, but it's like.
Yeah, I think the boils really get to me though.
Yeah.
Yeah, the boils, just having a fucking apple in your armpit.
Yeah, it's a bit mad. I'm not up for that. I'm definitely not up for that at all.
There's no way of hiding that. But yeah, you can see how this completely ravaged the world because of this, and it even hit England, being it's like
being in an island as well.
Being an island, but also open to trade. And it hit England the worst, apparently.
Yeah.
There probably there was probably a stronger variant.
I wonder why that is. I wonder why that is though. Why did it hit the United Kingdom worse?
I could imagine that it was because the virus would have mutated.
Okay.
Probably become more aggressive.
Okay.
Possibly.
Well, as in over time, as it's gone through.
Exactly.
Just killing off people as it goes on, and then once it got there, it was like
on
some mad.
So it was like the Indian
Big up to our stylist. Big up to our makeup artist, you know, working on the makeup stuff to take off all the makeup that we've got on, you know. So that's the noises that you hear in the background. Nothing mad, obviously.
Yeah.
You know, it's just the shocks of obviously hearing about the Black Plague. You know.
Exactly. But yeah, threw me off there. But that's probably why it was so damaging for UK, because it just had a stronger variant. It wiped out towns quicker than it wiped out towns anywhere else. Crazy. And you can imagine the horror of people knowing that it came to their shores after hearing horrific events and stories of it ravaging Europe.
I mean, we talk about like how bad it was for the UK, but it's like a third of the world's population, bro. Like, it's like, it's mad.
Yeah,
it's mad when you really think about it. It's really mad. I think one of the cool things that when I researched the whole thing was that certain areas, obviously people had died, but certain areas were being retaken back by Mother Nature. So it was like, I think in like World War One, they were doing like aerial like shoots on like planes, and they found like cities, or not cities, but like towns and villages and whatnot that had been like untouched because obviously they died from the Black Plague.
Whoa.
Which makes me wonder,
creepy.
Would that area still be infected if everyone's dead there?
Oh, it would definitely.
And bodies are just like rotting away.
Oh no, it would
over
be.
time. So it would still be infected.
Yeah, if there's dying bodies or dead bodies there, the bodies would still, I could imagine.
I mean, like from the 1300s all the way to World War One, though, like it's a long time, bro.
Oh no, it wouldn't be infected in World War One.
Okay, right.
I don't know how long would the viruses live. Like, if it doesn't have any hosts, it would just starve to death, wouldn't it?
I don't know. Well,
maybe
I guess so.
Animals
I guess so.
there.
I guess so. Well, animals feeding off of these dead bodies, and then over time through evolution. I don't know. I really don't know.
Yeah.
Don't quote me on any of this. But it is mad when you think about it. But it was that's kind of cool to hear. Obviously, nature coming back to reclaim certain areas.
That's always nice when nature can reclaim its areas, because the saying, civilization is just a gap in a forest. Basically, we've claimed the land, but it's nature's in the long run. And this just goes to show that it's quick just to take over any land that humans just give up or get forced out of. But that's, I guess, there was another kind of benefit to it. Speaking of it, quote unquote benefit, but because it wiped out so much of the population, there was more jobs around.
Well, yeah, I mean,
and
the
income raised because of it.
That's it. Yeah, that's it. So obviously they were probably really overpopulated as we are now as well. So imagine a big chunk of people. People need like their crops to be tended to, or like I don't know what jobs they had back then, but like they needed people to actually go about and actually help out and earn a living, and there was more of that because there was more demand for people to actually work. I mean, when this whole thing was going on, farmers were trying to like pay double, triple for people to actually do things, and they were like, "Nah, I'm alright. I'm not trying to leave the house." Through like, quarantine being brought in, and then all these kind of like what we're doing now. Yeah. Obviously, we had a lockdown. I think like twice or 3 times. I don't know how many times we've been. Like a 3-time lockdown. Maybe go for a 4th. Who knows? Yeah. But they've obviously implemented the same kind of tactics as well. So I've got a date here, 1351 is when the plague actually starts to fade out away. I see. So that's more because obviously a lot of people have been dying, we're talking about people abandoning like their kids and whatnot. It's crazy. Like they're literally leaving their newborns behind, if they, or their partners or children, and just leaving them. Like there's no remorse, basically. People are just trying to get away from this thing. Exactly. So through quarantine, becoming more clean, taking into consideration hygiene, which a bit like now, I'm guessing that through these things had changed like the course of their future in a way. Like they've started to consider, you know, hygiene to be a thing. Maybe it took a lot longer for it to actually be clean, but it was like the start of a way to, you know, consider it. A bit like COVID, where once COVID is done, people are still going to be like thinking, okay, what can we do to stay hygiene? Like,
like masks and shit like that.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Maybe masks might go away, maybe they won't, but
who knows? To touch upon that point, there were those plague doctors with the bird faces.
Yeah.
What bird was it?
I don't know what bird it was. I don't know what bird it was. I can find out now.
Throw a little image of it. You're probably familiar with it. But the plague doctors would travel around and try to treat the ill and the dying, and I don't think they would medically treat them, but treat them spiritually to kind of prepare them for their kind of demise and what they're going through, and just keep them company, because you can imagine most of these people who are succumbing to these illnesses, they're quarantined and they don't know what's happened to them, and it's very lonely and terrifying, and they're dying. And these plague doctors, as terrifying as they look, would appear to these dying sick people and treat them.
Do you know what I'm curious though about that mask? Now that I'm looking at it now, like, why was it a bird mask?
I don't exactly know.
Like, I think the two eye holes were where they would breathe in through.
No, they wouldn't.
Wouldn't they? Because it says the typical mask had glass openings for the eyes and a curved beak shaped like a bird with straps that held the beak in front of the doctor's nose. The mask had two small nose holes.
Yeah, and it would be packed.
It was a type of respirator.
Yeah, so the nose would be packed with like flowers and shit. So
so like lavender and peppermint.
Yeah, so their primitive thinking is the diseases spread through bad smells. And again, not too far off, I guess, if somebody's thinking and they're like dying of the symptoms and shit. You think, okay, possibly it's the bad smells. But yeah, they will pack it with flowers and shit, so they can smell nice shit instead of the bad shit.
You know.
And but yeah, I don't know why they decided on flowers exactly.
Probably because of that. Obviously, you know, they don't really have like.
Excuse me.
What, the bird?
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe it was like, because it looks like a crow, and crow is like.
It's terrifying, fam.
Yeah, I know, but maybe crow's like related to death or something. I don't know. I've got no idea.
Good point. Maybe.
I don't know. But it's not. It's
tell us.
Yeah, maybe tell us if you know. But then obviously when a few years went by, 1353, it was considered that the Black Death had gone. So behind humanity, they've progressed into like being away from the Black Death. Numbers are starting to come back again. But interesting fact, apparently the Black Death hasn't actually completely gone away. Like there's been cases of the Black Death, right?
Yeah. I
don't know. I think there was a case in, actually, I think I got a slide here that says, I think there might have been one in like 2017, which is very, like between 2010 and 2015. But I don't know. I think it was a type of plague, probably a lot weaker than the Black Death. Or maybe we've just become more strong in terms of like immunity.
Yeah,
that variant doesn't really hit us like the way the one that it did at that time, you know. So who knows?
And I guess we got like antibodies and antibiotics and all of that.
Get your BCGs, man.
Hey, fuck those.
What did the BCG do? Like
tuberculosis.
Oh, damn.
Which is also another like one of those pandemic type things. I think they caused a couple of epidemics.
Was the BCG the one that they gave you the 6 needles?
Yeah, I think it was.
Was that the 6 needle? Because I remember them doing the 6 needle one, and then they did another one as well, right?
I think the BCG is the 6 needle one. Crazy,
mad.
Isn't it?
Yeah, mad.
So yeah, with all of those advancements, it doesn't hit as much as before. But yeah.
Again, cool thing.
Cool.
About, you know, you was talking about jobs being more available, people being able to like have a high kind of grade of living now, right? another interesting thing was the fact that a lot of older communities, like the intellectual older people, the ones that were more in power at the time,
Yeah.
because obviously they had been wiped out, or not all of them, but I mean a lot of people died.
Mm-hmm.
So to progress like the world, certain areas, they it opened ideas, and it opened new ideas, like fresh thinking,
Mm-hmm.
fresh art, which invited I believe it was the leading up to like Renaissance area because of this thing. So it's like this bad thing had kind of changed the course of
humanity.
Humanity and how they were living at that time.
Yeah, I can imagine.
Yeah, maybe to not like an extreme,
Mm-hmm.
but like the build, building up to it.
Makes you think, innit? Like if you've got this ravaged, if you've been ravaged by this disease and stuff, you might be looking at the world a bit differently. Like you've lost your loved ones, your neighbors, everything like that. You're probably thinking, oh shit, maybe I need to act or work or think a different way, because
I mean, it's a reset, isn't it?
It's a reset.
It's
a reset, like what we're going through right now. A great reset. They're probably people who are pushing this great reset is probably learning from history, isn't it? Because
you know what, history repeats itself
all the time.
History repeats itself. So you learn through. I'm guessing that through COVID, they've looked at this. They've looked at the Spanish flu. They've looked at all these stuff, and they've gone. How have they gotten out of these situations now that we relive? We're reliving. Like a historical event. So
history rhymes, doesn't it?
Okay, what do you mean?
It doesn't exactly repeat itself, but it's similar events, but with a tweak.
Okay, so what you're saying, with a new verse?
Yeah, with a new verse. Yes, with a new verse.
Yeah, for
with
real.
A new flow and all that. New beat.
Shout out to the Black Death.
Changing humanity.
Yeah, fuck that. But yeah, it never really went away. Bubonic plague never really went away.
No,
that never really went away.
Yeah, I want to actually just touch upon their efforts in trying to control the Black Death. Like their quarantine tactics far more extreme than what we're going through. Right?
Like what? What do you mean?
So what they would do is they wouldn't just, lock down a city or something like that. They probably would even burn the house down. So they'll lock them in. So I think there was a couple of instances in Italy where they'll, quarantine a person and just set the house on fire so to, avoid the infections. That's extreme.
Ruthless, man. Ruthless. Desperation, isn't it? Like desperation.
Good point.
Their way of dealing with medicine and like treatments and whatnot and operations and whatnot was extreme already. Like they were using obviously leeches.
Yes, that's all they were doing.
That's one of the things they were doing. They were cutting people.
Yeah, bleeding them
out.
Yeah,
like you're not in anesthetics.
Yeah,
you're not going under. You're not going under at all.
No,
you're not going under. Maybe they had things to substitute.
To
numb it.
Maybe.
Or certain drugs, but they definitely were just like, it was an experiment, innit? They were like trying to do whatever, and out of desperation. If you're imagine you're living in like a tower block nowadays. Well, maybe that's a bit too. That's a bit too dark. Obviously, with what's happened.
Yeah.
But I mean, they would just happily, get like rid of certain housings or like certain people that were under, because it was just trying to get rid of this thing as soon as possible.
Exactly.
It's mad.
Yeah.
Like imagine living through like 2 weeks of that, or like imagine living a week through the desperation. Like 1 minute you're out, I don't know, they probably had like music carnivals and whatnot, and then the next minute all your school or your family members, like they're all dying.
Yeah.
Like one day they're ill, the next day they're ill, and then the next day they die.
And it's not like some simple easy death. It's the most horrific, gruesome, unsightly thing.
I wonder what it sounded like. For real.
What do you mean? Just the being around the towns or the actual illness?
Yeah, like you're quarantining. The houses are not great. They don't have like
Yeah,
they don't have like
bricks.
bricks. Yeah, they don't have like double glazed glass, so
No.
you can hear everyone coughing everywhere.
That's terrible.
Everywhere. Like nowadays, if you cough and sneeze on a train or something,
Yeah,
people are staring at you.
yeah,
Like, you know, people are watching you. So I wonder what it sounded like then, you know, because
Yeah.
you're getting.
it would have been eerily silent, but I could imagine eerily silent, but you just hear people just dying and wheezing and shit like that, sneezing and stuff like that, and nobody really knows. Sorry, I cut you up. You was gonna say something about.
No, I was gonna say, you've got like this, like you were saying, you've got like this
Yeah.
thing coming out your neck's like this all day long. Like
Yeah,
you're hearing your neighbors just like struggling, but it probably would have been like that kind of eerie silence. You know, you're just hearing death everywhere.
Yeah,
You're seeing death everywhere. Like you're
Yeah.
trying to go to, I don't know, like a food vendor or something, and it's just bodies. Like,
Yeah, there's too many bodies.
who's touching the bodies as well? Like,
There's people touching bodies as
that's
well.
what I'm saying. But like, you're moving dead bodies to obviously
Yeah.
burn them, and it's like
You're getting it as
you're
well.
getting it as well. So anything you do, it's peak for you.
Yeah, no, this
It's peak for you.
humanity wasn't ready for this at all, and this was an apocalyptic event, to say the least. I mean,
Quarantining, people were doing it for like 30 to 40 days, maybe longer, if they made it that far, bro. Like, you're not exactly quarantining in your own room. You know, you're living in like if you're living in a family house, like these lot are probably sleeping in the same room.
That's
or like
crazy.
sleeping in 2 rooms.
Yeah, and the whole family's getting locked up and probably burnt as well.
It's mad, yeah. It's mad.
Also, there was other people. So different groups of people reacted to this differently. We spoke about the plague doctors who went around trying to treat people, leaders quarantine in towns, cities, houses, but there were also religious characters, and there was, I forget the name of this group of people, but they saw it as a punishment from God, and what their reaction is because they felt that humanity was being sinful, and this is their punishment, that they would go around hitting themselves.
That's a madness.
It just shows the kind of
That's
psychology of humans, possibly just making it too much about themselves, but it's again showing desperation, isn't it? It's just showing that, how am I gonna help people? Let me just whip myself to kind of redeem people from their sins.
That's it. You're just going to the bus stop. You're just whipping your way down to the bus stop.
Self-flagellation, I think it's called.
Yeah.
I've got to fucking Google that, but yeah, they would do that to kind of rid them of sins and help them not get the disease, or help humanity not get the disease. But it just goes to show that
You probably would do that though.
what, beat myself up?
Yeah.
Why that?
I mean, everyone else is doing it.
Everyone else is getting beaten up.
Yeah, but you probably would, because you're like, I want this to end.
Yeah.
You know, now that you know you got the idea of God punishing,
Yeah.
and in those times, religion is like,
The be all.
yeah.
End
So
all things.
they're literally doing as much as possible to get out of this situation, innit? So it's
Exactly.
like, why wouldn't you beat yourself up in the name of
God? I don't know. I can't answer that. I wish we could teleport one of them and have a conversation with them.
I wish
maybe
we
another
wouldn't
time.
teleport one of them to here. What, with the black plague?
No,
Are you
not
moving
with
mad?
the black plague.
Okay, I was gonna say, but
But-
yeah, no, that'd be interesting actually if you could have actually had a conversation with like
A
a
person.
plague doctor.
Yeah.
You know, somebody who's like lost in the mindset of like, is this from the afterlife?
Yeah.
Is this something that's come from now? Is it like a soul? You know?
And be able to ask them questions about how they
Yeah,
reacted
yeah.
and saw the death and stuff like that.
Like, what was the worst case they had to deal with?
Yeah, man. And
Yeah,
why
man.
are you doing it?
What do you mean?
Like, why the fuck are you doing? What? No, I guess it's.
Why are you a
just
plague doctor?
Yeah, compassion.
Yeah,
Partly it's compassion, I guess,
yeah.
or maybe they're that psychotic, or you know.
I mean, people do that now, though, innit?
Nobody's going to some coronavirus.
Yeah.
Who's doing that? There's no plague doctors around.
What do you mean? There's no plague doctors around? There's loads of plague doctors, bro.
I mean, people who are not pushing it as a profession. Who's not in a profession.
Bro, people go over to like badly developed places all the time to like help out and like treat people that have got like diseases all the time. Voluntarily, bro. Yeah.
All right, cool.
What do you mean?
Something I just thought during the pandemic, do you really want to be kind of pushing the pandemic even more in a sense?
Listen, man, there's people out there that are, you know.
Yeah, you know what?
Shout out to all you lot.
To be honest, there are people who are very compassionate and they just want to help, and they go through to charities and travel the world trying to help people. And yeah, these plague doctors were probably the same.
I mean, not to be an arsehole or anything, but I probably wouldn't.
No.
Like at that time, why would you want to leave your house?
No.
Like you're seeing everyone looking like zombie flesh. Why would you want to even put yourself in a situation where you might catch it yourself?
I'm going somewhere.
And people probably had a lot of cats and stuff in the house. You know, they probably had a lot of animals in the house.
Yeah, I can imagine.
Would you then throw your animal away? Like,
you probably would.
How would they get their news? Like, would people be standing in a square? Oh, we've realised that this is being passed on by animals.
Yeah, they wouldn't.
Like, not animals. Well, animals, yeah, rats and fleas going to animals and hitting us. You know, you'd probably end up looking at your pet and thinking,
yeah,
I don't know if I want you indoors.
So there will probably be a myriad of theories of where this is coming from. So you can imagine the kind of, craziness that people are dealing with, trying to, deal with this shit.
Yeah, for real.
But
interesting facts, though.
How long was this? How long did this go for?
So it originated in like the mid 1300s.
Yeah.
And it went on for, I don't know. When does it say? What?
1360. Is that 53 or 63? 53. 1353. So 13. It's probably like 50 years or so.
50 years.
I want to say. It was like 1310. All right, give us a second, yeah? We're just going to Google it. We need a Jamie.
We need a Jamie for real. Was the would we cut this bit here or would we continue?
I think we would continue, just keep it live. But I don't know. I just feel like just keep it honest and live. I would hope later on we could just do this live.
Yeah. I mean, hopefully, yeah.
I don't know if that's. Oh, it took 3 years. Damn, that wasn't that long.
It was only 3 years.
Yeah. The first signs were in the fall.
I mean, it probably. You know what? That probably makes a lot of sense.
3 to 6 years.
That probably makes a lot of sense, man. Because they're not exactly treating it properly. Like there isn't.
Yeah.
Like I don't know. Medicine or a vaccine, that treats it. So it probably took 3 years because it was like just loads of people dying to the point where it was just like, well, there's no one else to die no more. Everyone's cleaning up. Like I don't know what else you can say. So it's like it probably in my mind I thought it was a lot longer because it was talking about like the 1666 the Great Fires and that. Potentially contributing to the fact of like that cleansing. That was way later. 3 years. I didn't know 3 years. I found that out just now.
Jeez. And that's a traumatic 3 years, man. That's a traumatic short span of just everyone dying. Yeah. I can't imagine. It just goes to show that, living back then, boy, like there's no way of actually. That's why you're so religious, because you have no kind of concept of anything else. You just feel like I just need to pray to a superior being to.
Imagine traveling. So you've left your village, your small town.
Yeah.
And you're like, okay, I need to get out of here because everyone is dying. Things are going bad. And then imagine traveling from there to go to like another part of the world and it's there.
You're like, what the fuck?
You sell all your things, your belongings. You leave your children behind. You're like, you know what? I don't want to be with them. They've obviously got it. I'm out of here. you sell everything, and you get there, and it's just death there.
Yeah.
You try to leave there, death in the next place.
Yeah.
It's
and
like
it takes a while to travel to these places as well.
That's what I'm saying. You're
Taking
definitely gonna.
weeks.
That's what, touching back on what you were saying about people whipping themselves in the name of God to like for forgiveness. You're gonna start looking at this like it's the end of the world.
Definitely.
Like, what have we done as humanity and all this crazy stuff? So I mean, it makes sense.
Yeah, it does make sense.
It does make sense.
Does make sense. But yeah, I think that wraps it up, just to show you the kind of severity of this disease and what humanity kind of went through in their dark ages, in the Middle Ages, before science and everything like this. But because of the sacrifices of those people, because of what they've done, we are able to live better lives. Basically, we learn from their mistakes. And
funny enough, though, have we learned from their mistakes though?
I think we have.
You think so?
The only thing,
I mean, people weren't really quarantining and you know.
Yeah, humans stay stupid. And to be honest, I don't want to say the comparison between the coronavirus and the Black Death is stark. Like, the coronavirus is basically a flu. There's no boils and, you know, fucking septic shocks or something like that. There's no real blood infections. There are people dying from pneumonia, and that is a serious case, but it's not as widespread as what happened with the Black Death, where it was literally neighbors, families.
Aren't the numbers for coronavirus quite high though? Like, of death?
Yeah, it is.
Is it more than this?
But I don't know about if it's more than this, but the coronavirus survival rate is high as well.
Yeah, fair.
So people are dying from it en masse. But there is some kind of controversy around that as well, because people do feel that the numbers are being inflated. People who die of coronavirus, people who are being counted in the coronavirus death statistics don't necessarily die solely from coronavirus. Yeah, they either die from, you know, other causes, and they have a positive test. So we don't know the clear the clear impact it's been having. But yeah, it's not like how Black Death was. Yeah,
no, fair play. Before we end on this, I wanted to end on, obviously everyone probably knows, like, nursery rhyme.
Oh yeah.
You know, your ringer Rosie rhyme.
Yeah.
That was
culture.
That was related to Black Plague. So when you hear that, I don't know if they even sing that anymore, bro. Like in the primary schools and that, I don't know.
That's true. It might be a bit problematic.
Is it?
I don't know. Like, do you want your kids singing a tissue, we all fall? I don't know. It seems a bit dark. I can see some parents being like, yeah, this is a bit too dark for my kid. I don't want them singing that.
Yeah, but some of those nursery rhymes had like mad history behind them.
Yeah, they do.
Certain ones that I've researched.
Yeah, it's dark past.
Yeah. So this one is obviously a dark past from the actual Black Death. So if you didn't know, probably all of you lot knew. You're like, this is not new. But for those that didn't know, that is related to that. So if you hear your child singing that,
tell them
it's probably a madness.
Tell them that
it's probably a madness.
They're singing it because people died. Also, I wanted to just touch upon, even because of our kind of lessons learned and developments and stuff like that, we might be creating the same scenario.
What do you mean?
So with antibiotics and all of this, viruses are becoming more stronger.
Okay.
And more resilient to those antibodies that we put. So if we might be creating superbugs.
Okay.
That just imagine Black Death comes back. Excuse me. The Black Death comes back, but we can't kill it with, our usual things. We'll be experiencing the same thing all over again.
That's mad.
Because they're more resilient. The same thing, the same symptoms, the same deaths, the same everything. So we're never we're never really rid of everything. Like,
well, I mean, to make a test for like an experiment, like something that's come out of a lab, like COVID,
yeah,
and then for that to spread and for it to go on a madness where it wasn't able to be killed quite quickly, and then obviously having so many people die from it. I think you're right. Like, is what I'm trying to say is that they are, you are putting yourself in a situation where these infections that are out there are potentially stronger than just the average flu, isn't it?
Yeah,
so
yeah.
maybe if you don't get these like, your skin turning black and whatnot, maybe that might not happen, or maybe it will with a new variant of a new
you might
plague. Who knows?
New symptoms and shit.
Yeah. So
Fuck.
I don't know.
But yeah, watch this space, innit? Hopefully humanity doesn't do this, innit? Just But yeah, thank you for tuning into this episode.
Yeah, love for that.
Yeah, it's much more darker, deeper scenario, but very relevant for this time.
Yeah.
And yeah, we'll be back again, I guess.
Just trying to learn, through these historical events. There's so much interesting stuff as well that, people probably just look past,
Exactly.
You kind of learn it at a point in your life and then you kind of forget about it. Or there's certain things that you touch on, or there's things that we're living through at the moment through something that's happened in history, or things that are being made history right now.
Yeah.
Certain things that have been made,
It has like connections to the past.
That's it.
Yeah, we're all connected to the past. We're all learning.
It's pretty deep, man. It's pretty deep.
Yeah, if you don't learn from the past, you're doomed to repeat it. Innit?
Exactly. But yeah. It's just the rhyme, man. It's just the rhyme. New verses and that.
But yeah. Anyway.
All right, well.
Peace. Until next week, innit, David?
That's it, yeah. Next week, every week.
All right.
Every week a new drop, but be easy, everyone.
All right, peace.